Bugungi darsimizda Cambridge 17 test 3 passage 2 analizini ko'rib chiqamiz. Reading passage 2 va bu nima haqida ekan? Bu palm oil haqida, qanaqadir palma yog'i haqida. Demak, savol turlariga qarab chiqamiz va savollarga javob berishni boshlaymiz. Which section contains the following information? Quyidagi informatsiyani qaysi section o'z ichiga olgan? 7 questions for and 8 paragraphs. O'z ko'rgazma bu qismda 7 ta savolimiz bor, 8 ta paragrafimiz bor. Demak, bu qismda 8 tadan 7 ta paragrafni ishlatishimiz kerak bo'ladi. Va bu qismda nota bene bunaqa ma'lumotlar yo'q. And B bo'ladi vaziyatida o'zingizga bilganingdek you may use more than one line more than once degan vaziyat bo'lardi. Bir narsani ikki marta ishlatishingiz mumkin bo'ladi degan. Lekin hozir bu qismda yo'qligi sababli biz keyingi qismga o'tib keta qolamiz. Va bu savol turlarida o'zingiz bilganingizdek, birinchi navbatda tekstni o'qib olib keyin savollarga qaraydigan bo'lsak, tekstni 7 marta takrorlashimiz va 7 marta takrorlashimiz ko'p vaqtni olishiga sabab bo'ladi. Shuning uchun ham asosan hammasini bajarishimiz kerak bo'ladi. Stop. Darsdan tekshira olaman. Bolalar Cambridge 17 test 1 passage 3 ni ko'rmadimda, chiqqanligini mana. Test 2 passage 3 ekan. 21 gram, test 2 passage 1. Mana bu qarang, test 1 passage 3.1 buni chiqarib olish kerak-da. Masalan, to'liq bo'lmasa ham chiqarib olish kerak. To'liq masalan o'quvchilar so'rasa, sпрос bo'lsa, "Voy, to'ldirib beringlar buni" desagina, biz buni to'liq chiqaramiz, chunki sпрос bor yo'qligini bilmaymiz hozir. Xo'p, endi davom etamiz. 21-22 questions, choose two letters A to E. Demak, bu qismda savol, demak, which two statements are made about the round table on sustainable palm oil RSPO haqida ekan, o'sha qismni topib olamiz, savollarga javob berishga harakat qilamiz. Va bu qism katta ehtimol bilan G dan boshlanar ekan, G paragrafdan boshlab, faqatgina G paragrafni o'qisak topib olamiz, javoblarni. Keyingi qismda esa bizda no more than 2 words va bu savollar bizda filling gaps. Demak, filling gaps, one advantage of palm oil manufacturers is that it stays even when not refrigerated. Demak, stays liquid, demak, stays good, stays fresh. Sifat bo'lishi kerak. Bularni topishga harakat qilamiz tekstni o'qigan holda. Demak, birinchi navbatda bizda matching information savollari bo'lganligi sababli savollarga qaragan holda javoblarni topish ehtimoli juda ham kam. Shuning uchun ham birinchi navbatda sizga ham yaxshi maslahat, birinchi navbatda tekstni o'qib olganingiz yaxshi hisoblanadi va bu qismda biz agar hamma butun tekstni tushunmasangiz, ko'pchilik o'quvchilar tushunmasligi mumkin. Masalan, hammasini qanaqa qilib o'qib chiqaman, ikkita debman. Xo'p, ikkiga bo'lib oling. Masalan, ABCD birinchi navbatda o'qiysiz, keyin DEFG ni o'qiysiz yoki ABCD 4 ga bo'lib oling, 3 ga bo'lib oling. O'zingizni holatingizga qaragan holda buni ishlashga harakat qilishingiz kerak. Keling endi o'zimizning vaziyatimizda buni ABCD ni o'qiymiz birdaniga, keyin javoblarni topgan holda CDEFG ni, EFGH ni o'qishga harakat qilamiz. Keling buni boshlaymiz. Palm oil is an edible oil derived from the fruit of the African oil palm tree. It's currently most consumed vegetable oil in the world. It's almost so we watch with in the mornings and which we have lunch. Biscuits we snack on during the day. Why is palm so attractive for manufacturers? Primarily because its unique properties such as remaining salt at room temperature make it an ideal ingredient for long-term preservation. While manufacturers will have best before date for months, even years into the future. Tushunarli. Palm oilni nima uchun manufacturerlarga bo'lgan qiziqishi, qaysi qismlarda ishlatilishi haqida ma'lumotlar bergan ekan. Many farmers have seized the opportunity to maximize planting oil on trees. This plant are developed to grow from 6 to 17. 10%. From a mere 2 million tons of palm being produced annually globally. It's figure around 60 million tons per every single year. Figure looking likely to double or even triple by the middle of the century. Demak, shunda ishlab chiqarish qanaqa vaziyatda qayerlarda ishlab chiqariladi, ishlab chiqarish hajmi haqida ma'lumot berilgan. However, there are multiple reasons why observations cite the rapid spread of oil palm plantation is a major concern. Demak, bu qismda concern muammoligi va buning sabablari. There are countless news stories of deforestation, habitat destruction, dwindling species populations as a direct result of land clearing to establish oil palm tree monoculture on an industrial scale, particularly in Malaysia and Indonesia. Endangered species most famously is the Sumatran orangutan, but also rhinos, elephants, tigers, and numerous other fauna have suffered from the unstoppable spread of oil palm plantations. Palm oil is surely one of the greatest threats to global biodiversity. Global biodiversity threat Dr. Farnan, palm oil is replacing rainforests and rainforests is species live, as its prominence leads to some critical questions among environmentalists, such as whether consumers should try to boycott palm oil entirely. Meanwhile, this person is easy to see palm oil and we should be against it. Makes for a more dramatic story. It's very intuitive, but given the complex of I think much more nuanced stories close to the truth. Demek o'shanda ikkita odamni fikri haqida ma'lumot bor ekan. Bu vaziyat haqida keling savollarga javoblarni topishga harakat qilamiz birgalikda. Examples of range of potential environmental advantages of oil palm tree cultivation. Range of potential environmental advantages of oil palm tree cultivation. Environmental advantages haqida ko'rganimiz yo'q. Yo'q. Ko'rganimiz yo'q. Xo'p. Sorry, economical advantage bor, lekin environmental advantage yo'q. Description of an organization which controls environmental impact. Your organization haqida ko'rganmiz. Examples of widespread global use of palm oil. Widespread global use of palm oil haqida ma'lumot berilgan va ular mana so'pda bor, so'mda bor, sandvichda bor, biskitda bor, hamma yoqda bor. Bo'ladi javob. Voy kichkina. Reference to a particular species which could benefit the ecosystem of oil palm. Particular species which could benefit the ecosystem of oil. No, figures illustrating the rapid expansion of the palm oil. Here, palm oil illustration rapid expansion ya'ni tez o'sishini ko'rsatuvchi figure raqamlar haqida ma'lumot berilgan. Bu paragrafida 6-17 gacha 60 million shu hisobli bo'ladi. B. An economic justification for not opposing the palm industry. Well, economic justification haqida ma'lumot yo'q. Examples of creatures badly affected by the solution. Yeah, bu bor. Creatures of badly affected. Demek bu qismi orangutan haqida ma'lumot bo'ldi. Rhinos mana qisqasi hammasi javob C bo'yicha. Demek C. Uchta savolimizga javob topdik. Demek D ishlatilmas ekan. Mayli, D ishlatilmasdan qo'yamiz. Ishlatmasa ishlatmaymiz. Qolgan javoblarimiz qolgan paragraflarda chiqishi aniq. Keling, endi bu haqida error haqida o'qiganimiz yo'q hozircha. Voy, don't do it. Don't do it. Error haqida o'qiganimiz yo'q. Endi o'qiymiz error haqida. One advantage of palm is that buni qildik lekin mana. One advantage of demak palm oil for an exchange is that it says even when not refrigerated, mana room temperature solid dedi mana. Primarily because nima uchun manufactured attractive, primarily because asosan chunki remaining solid room temperature. Demak havo room ya'ni xona temperaturasida ham solid demak solid bo'lgan. Qattiq turar ekan. Z is best known of the animals suffering habitat loss as a result of spread of palm oil plantations. Demek palm oil plantatsiyalarini spread haqida, tarqalish haqida sababli zarar ko'rayotgan hayvonlarning eng mashhuri, demak most famously mana. Eng mashhuri most famously Sumatran orangutan. Demak Sumatran orangutan yozib qo'yamiz. Javob Sumatran orangutan. Sumatran. Wow. Orangutan. Sumatran orangutan. Demak orangutanga ekan. Sumatran orangutanga ekan. Bu tushunarli keyingi o'tamiz. As one of the criteria for creation of sustainable RSPO haqida o'qiganmiz. Demak bizda ikkita savolga javob, 5 savolga javob topdik. Birinchi qismdan keyingi qismni o'qiymiz va savollarga qolgan savollarga javob topishga harakat qilamiz. Davom etamiz. Sorry. Shunchalik o'qigan. Shunchalik o'qib keladi. One minute. minute. 1 minute. Sorry for the. Minute. Bo'ldi. Charchadim. Keling endi keyingi qismni o'qishni boshlaymiz. Va davom etamiz. One response to boycott movement has been argument for vital role palm oil plays in lifting many millions of people in developed world out of poverty. It is desirable to have palm oil boycott and replace it eliminated from the global supply chain, given how many low-income people in developed countries depend on it for their livelihood. How best to strike an equitable balance between these competing factors has become a serious bone of contention. Demak, qismda nima ma'lumot berilgan, nima uchun boykot qilinmasligining sababi yoki boykot qilishimizga qarshi fikrlar bilan biri bu, demak, ko'plab odamlar bunda hayoti o'sha palm oilga bog'liq qolganligi hisoblanar ekan. Shuning uchun ham balansni ushlashimiz kerak degan ma'lumot berishdi. Keyingisiga o'tamiz. Even this reversion argument isn't as straightforward as it seems. The first argument is straightforward. Oil palm plantations produce at least 4 and potentially up to 10 times more oil per hectare than soybean, rapeseed, sunflower, and other competing oils. Additionally, the immensely high yield, which is predominantly what makes it possible, is potentially also an ecological benefit. Oh, if 10 times more palm can be producible from a patch of land that you can, it's 10 times more land would be need to clear it. Produce the same work. Demek tushunarli. O'zida bo'lgan deforestation argumenti ham kuchli argument emas ekan, chunki bunga sabab oil 5 tadan 10 tagacha ko'plab yield, ya'ni 10 barobargacha ko'p hosil berar ekan boshqa raqobatchi oillarga qaraganda. As for the question of carbon emissions, the issue really depends on what oil palm trees are replacing. Crops are varying in degree which is sequestering carbon. In other words, the carbon is captured from the atmosphere stored within the plant. The more carbon the plant sequesters, the more it reduces the effect of climate change. That palm oil production actually requires more carbon in some ways than other alternatives. Of course, if you're cutting down virgin forest, it's terrible. That's what's happening in Indonesia, Malaysia. It has been allowed to get out of hand. But it's replacing rice, for example. It might actually sequester more carbon. Shunday carbon emissionlari ham bu bog'liq vaziyatga bor. Masalan, agar aytishyapti, faqatgina forestni masalan ko'plab demak o'simliklar o'ziga karbonni olib qo'yarkan, climate change'ni kamaytirar ekan. Masalan deyishdi, palm oil rice'dan ko'ra, masalan, guruchdan ko'ra ko'proq o'ziga karbonni oladi. Shuning uchun ham agar rice'ni replace qiladigan bo'lsa, karbon emission kamaytiradi. Lekin masalan, Malayziya, Indoneziyaga o'xshab real forestlarni kesadigan bo'lsa, u yomon degan ma'noda berishdi. Keyingi o'tamiz. The industry is now regulated by a group called RSPO, consisting of palm growers, retailers, producers, manufacturers, and other interested parties. Over the past decade or so, an agreement has gradually been, how long? 40 minutes. Reached regarding standards that producers of palm oil have to meet in order for their product to be regarded as officially sustainable. Insists on no virgin forest clearing, transparency, and regular assessment of carbon stocks, and only what this food sold as certified sustainable palm oil. Additionally, the recent figure shows that Adress certifies around 12 million tons of palm oil and will equal to roughly 21%. Additionally, o'zing ko'rganingdek, endi o'sha bu industriyani regulation qilish uchun, ya'ni boshqarish uchun, demak, boshqarish emas bu. Demak, kontrollировать qilish uchun RSPO yaratish kerak ekan va RSPO qanaqadir kriteriyalarga qaraganda sertifikat berar ekan. Va bu sertifikat 21% oshib sertifikatlanayotgan ekan. Keyingisiga o'tamiz. Keyingisiga o'tmasa hammasini belgilay olamiz, chunki uchtasi yetadi. Keling boshlaymiz. Examples of range of potential environmental and natural oil palm tree cultivation. Demak, shunda oil palm tree cultivation ikkita advantage ko'rdik. Carbon emission bilan deforestation ko'rdik. Ecological benefits qisqasi F bo'lishi kerak. O'qib oling, chunki u yerda deforestation ko'rdik. Deforestation emas dedi. Chunki oil ishlab chiqarsak, boshqalarga qaraganda o'sha pound emasmi? Nima deydi bu? Ismi nima deydi bu? Oil pound 3 ishlab chiqaradigan bo'lsak, boshqa oil traderlarga qaraganda yaxshiroq, carbon emission ham kamaytiradi degan ma'lumotlar bor. Description of organization, demak RSPO bu G bo'ladi javob. Wow, G bo'ladi. Keyingiga o'tamiz. Reference to particular species is conventional ecosystem of yo'q, o'tgan javob. Eshitib o'tdik. Mana, the bird's nest farm grows a trees and demak tushunadi H bo'ladi. H bo'ladi. Yaxshi ham o'qimaganimni sabab yaxshi bo'ldi, chunki economic justification of not supposing the bond. Ekonomik sabab bunga qarshi chiqmasak, chunki mana low income familylar bunga depend qiladi. Ko'plab odamlarni qashshoqlikdan chiqaryapti degan ma'lumotlar bergan ekan. Hammasini topdik, o'zingizlar ko'rganlaringiz. E, F, G ni o'qidim. H ni o'qimadim. O'qimaganimga sabab nima edi? Chunki biz aniq bilardik, 4 ta savol qoldi va 4 ta savoldan 3 tasiga javobni topsak, boshqa E, F, G lar bilan oxirgi javob o'zi demak mantiqiy jihatdan, logika jihatdan oxirgi bo'lib qoladi. Masalan, speciesni topolmadim, qaradim, speciesni qidirdim, birds ko'rdim, endi bu tamom. H bo'lar ekan. 12 savolga shunaqa javob topildi. O'qimasdan javob topildi. Demak, which section contains the following ni topdik. Endi mana bu statements are made about the round table of sustainable farming ko'ramiz, chunki bu G da bor. Has grown steadily over the course of last decade. Grown ko'rmadik membershipni. Certified producers to be open and honest about their practices ko'rdik. Several years the sales sales criteria haqida ma'lumot yo'q. Regarding are stricter to those yo'q. Format the request of environmental concern about the loss of code. Mana to'g'ri. Mana overcapacity case gradual revision. Mana it took several years to establish a set of criteria. To'g'ri mana bu ishga bo'lgan javob. Chunki at the request environmentalistlarni iltimos shuni ish qilinglar degan gapi uchun chiqarilmagan id bo'lmaydi. Stricter haqida ma'lumot yo'q, D bo'lmaydi. Membership haqida ma'lumot yo'q, E bo'lmaydi, B bilan C bo'ladi. Chunki mana transparency talab qilib oladi, E plus over the past decades. Demak, oxirgi 10 yillik davomida bu kriteriyalar chiqib kelgan, yaratilganligi haqida ma'lumot bor. Bu qism tugadi. Keyingiga o'tamiz. 25 yil mot qoldi. As one of these criteria for certification, insists that growers check on routine basis. Nima check qilar ekan? Regular assessment of carbon stock. Carbon stockni routine basisda check qilar ekan. Regular assessment demak bu qismda routine basisda synonym carbon stocks. Carbon stocks. Bo'ldi. Keyingiga o'tamiz. Elwood, demak oxirgisini o'qishimiz kerak bo'ladi. Elwood and his research are looking into whether the bird's nest fern could restore in areas where all palm trees are grown. Allows this earth to recover the biodiversity, providing a home for all manner of species. From fungi, bacteria, such as insects, amphibians, reptiles, blah blah blah. Mammals. Demak javob bu qismda restore, recover synonymi biodiversity. Biodiversity bo'ladi javob. O'qimasdan topsa bo'ladi bu savollarni. Biodiversity. Nima degani? O'qimasdan topsa bo'ladi. Keywordga qarab topsa bo'ladi. Keywordga qarab topdim. Mana 26 ni, 25 ni ham shunaqa bo'ldi. Demak, bugungi darsimiz o'z nihoyasiga yetadi. Agar shunaqa kontent qoladigan bo'lsanglar, YouTube kanalimizga a'zo bo'lib qo'yinglar, subscribe buttonini bosinglar, qo'ng'iroqchani ham bosinglar. Har bir marta YouTubega video chiqqanda chiqib qoladi bu videolar, ko'rishingiz mumkin bo'ladi. Savollaringiz bo'ladigan bo'lsa, men buni tekshirmayman, tekshirishga holim yo'q. Tekshirishlaring mumkin va tekshirgandan keyin agar xato chiqib qoladigan bo'lsa, kommentda qoldirishingiz mumkin. Voy baraka topib, buni xato qilsa, normal kontent ber degan ma'noda. Savollaringiz bo'ladigan bo'lsa, qoldirishingiz mumkin. Kommentda gaplashamiz hali. Shu bilan bugungi darsimiz o'z nihoyasiga yetadi. Keyingi darsda ko'rishguncha xayr.